face of Full Tilt.
Right.
That's undeniable. You can't deny that now. You were the face of Full Tilt, Team Full Tilt. Now you don't have to come out and say I own Full Tilt. You come out and say I'm going to guarantee the money on Full Tilt. That's what you have to say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it just makes so much sense. A couple more questions, Tony, if you don't mind. Marco, do you have anything? The one that I really want to know is, and I wasn't on the call, Tony, and I don't know if you heard it, but apparently we did have Mike Matusow on earlier, and I kind of alluded to it earlier, and I just kind of want to get your opinion because it's at this point, we're not personally going after these people. We're just trying to get the money back. But he personally went after you today on our show, and I mean, like, what do you say to that? Because I mean, whatever you guys had in the past is in the past. This is all about the money. So, Marco, kind of give him a synopsis of what happened today.
Well, yeah, sure. Tony, he was very mean. He was somewhat profane. I believe I have already filled you in somewhat on some of the things he said. The things that caught me the most, I think, the most striking thing, he alleged that by way of your affiliation with Party Gaming and Party Poker, you mean Full Tilt Poker harm. You long to see Full Tilt Poker do poorly.
Well, I can tell you, everyone that runs Full Tilt knows my exposure to Full Tilt is much, much higher than Party Poker. So, whatever I get a month from Party and whatever I've been making from Full Tilt, it doesn't compare. And my steps are personally very, very damaging if Full Tilt decide, if they're in a position to pay and they decide not to pay any businesses that I'm associated with, not to honor their contracts, my liability is much higher to Full Tilt than any other poker site. So and it's much more than what Mikey gets from Full Tilt or anyone else. So I'm going out on the line and taking a risk by not getting paid. No one's made anything good, but I know that it's not gonna be a problem. It's not gonna solve anything. We have to fix it now. But time has just run out, so that there's nothing else I can do. I don't want to be associated with Full Tilt if they're not going to pay the players. I don't care how much they're going to pay me.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and it's like, it's one of those things, Tony, where like you have so many people that have signed up to play on Full Tilt. You've given them your word that it was good, and I mean, right now, I think it's more important for you to make right, not like you personally, but your reputation of your site and your ability to sign people up to places is on the line here. They have really, not just you, but a lot of websites, man, have backed them and used their likeness all over your websites, and now they're not helping guys out like you, let alone the players that have money on the site, which is just it's a huge clusterfuck, and
it's a big problem.
It's a huge problem. And why is it, though, that not too many people are paying attention to this? Why is it right now Mike Matusow comes on the show, and I listen, I like Mike, I just don't think what he said today was appropriate, and I haven't listened to the interview, but why is it that right now, business as usual, and he's sitting down playing 300, 600 at the Aria, and everything, life is good? And why are you so fucking tilted you can't even play tournaments or poker, and he's down there playing 3-6 mix?
Look, everyone has different values and different perception. I have one perception. I'm not sure I can play another tournament until this situation is sorted out. Until there's some clarity, I feel I'm part of the industry and I'm responsible for what's going on. That's my beliefs. I think everyone has different beliefs. I think I've been an integral part, wanting or not. I felt we've always been legal in what we've done. I think we've always tried to get the players the best deals. Obviously, now no one wants to step to the plate and no one wants to solve the situation. And I think Mikey doesn't feel he's liable. I can't judge how Mikey feels. I can only judge myself. I can't judge. I'm not upset about what Mikey said. Well, whatever he did, I wish him and anyone else that doesn't like me all the best. I'm not out there chasing. A lot of these guys are friends of mine. Like Eric Fidel, I respect him a lot. And I know that some of them are in a very awkward position, but I still put a lot of pressure on them.
Yeah, and I think, Tony, the main thing here is that guys like Matusow, who usually you would think would be the kind of guy stepping up to the plate and speaking out, he's worried about keeping his monthly check. He's worried about getting through the World Series of Poker. They're obviously telling these guys, don't worry, and they are, because they're repeating it. Even Seidel said, oh, it's all I've heard, good news tomorrow. They're worried about getting through this World Series. They're worried about the next tournament, the next paycheck that's coming through their mailbox. So it's evident to me that until they actually don't get paid, these guys are still going to stand up and back the company right now that is not saying a word. And yet how they go out there in public, Tony, I could not do it. You could not do it. It just disgusts me, and we're not going to stop. I mean, until this money's paid. Marco's not going to shave until the money's paid.
The full tilt beard.
All right. Well, hopefully this will give them enough pressure to make some serious moves over the next 24 hours. I mean, they have to make a move now. It's beyond anything else. There's just no time to wait.
I think it's like, honestly, Tony, under 10% that we see anything happen within the next... I say under 1% in the next 24 hours anything happens.
Oh, I have done all I can. I've requested for a list from Full Tilt of all the players, all the exposure that we have.
Right. Have they given that to you?
They haven't. We're still hoping to get that. We feel we're responsible for our players, and we will make them good. But we need cooperation from Full Tilt.
No, of course. And a quick question: when you enter, and I know nothing about affiliates because we've never went down that road with QuadJacks, because I honestly, tinfoil hat, Tony, I thought something like this was going to happen. I just didn't want to be associated with it. But when you enter contracts with these people, is there any sort of a plan for if this happens? Like, do they ever say to you, if anything like this happens, we'll give you all that information, or was it just like business would have never stopped and your deal had nothing to do with them ever being shut down?
Yeah, you obviously don't have this in the contract. It's not something that's in the contract, and whatever that contract, whether that's verbal and written, and it's the contract of, it's a very wide contract, and the reaching and their jurisdiction is very wide, and it's something probably difficult. Would you now, moving forward in contracts that you will sign with companies moving forward, will this be something that's on the back of your mind that could happen again and you will protect yourself? No, I'm a guy that just likes to do deals on handshakes and commitments, because I feel that contracts don't really work in this industry yet. It's too difficult because of the different jurisdictions.
Sure.
If the regulation was in America, that would be another thing. You could agree in a contract on the place of litigation, should there be a problem. You could agree on a state and county and court even in a contract. But when it's overseas and international, and it becomes very problematic if you don't have representation.
It's definitely a big headache. A question here from Harold. He says, ask Tony if he honestly thinks Full Tilt has the money to pay back. What's your opinion? I
feel Full Tilt today doesn't have the money. The players have the money, that they've obviously taken it off. They've siphoned it off out of the company, but they haven't got the money in the bank account of the company as of today.
Now, respond to allegations that I've had multiple people telling me, screaming at me in chat and email and text messages. That can't be the case, Tony, because these sites are regulated, and they regulate for segregated accounts. If that was the case, we would have got our money back, wouldn't we have?
Yeah, no doubt.
So they're obviously not abiding by the rules of the regulation that they have. They're just running the show, doing what they want to do, and it's just a disgrace for both the company and the people who regulate these companies to not actually be checking this shit.
It is. You're absolutely right, and you guys should call them all up and do all you can now, because the time is running out. I feel that they're all going to go in hiding, and no one's going to make the money good. If this just goes quiet and people say nothing, basically, and just keep making announcements about waiting another day, another week, another month, then you do quarterly updates.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we're 2 weeks away, I believe, from day one of the not the main event, the World Series of Poker. I think it starts on the 30th, Marco, or maybe like the 28th. It's a couple weeks away. What do you think, Tony, is the likelihood that we'll see even a third of our money back by that time?
It's probably less and less every minute that passes, but I guess it's 20% now.
Fair enough. And now, what about? I'm sure you've seen all these people too, like the Durs of the world, go on Twitter and make campaigns where they'll buy Full Tilt money at 95 cents per dollar. Have you contacted any of those guys to sell whatever you need to get back?
No, I haven't. I haven't done those. I haven't seen that. Has Dur been buying up recently at that rate?
I'm not sure what the last one was, Tony. I'm sure we can get that information to you via Twitter. I'm sure KevMath is in the chat. He probably is already on it. But, yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. I was like, has anybody actually called them out on that, even back when they were saying it was like 97.5 cents on the dollar. You know, I would wonder if we can find that number out, figure that number out for you. You know, you should definitely, if you have their number, give them a call and, you know, privately say to them, listen, I'm willing to sell X amount of dollars. I'm going to meet you. You're going to give me the money. Because that, again, those are the first steps, like you're saying, of these people starting to pay back the money. We need somebody to just start buying this money up rather than just offering it. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, and this is something they could have done quietly.
Right.
This is something that everyone could have done, and there's no reason for them not to have done this and to take care of all the people that.
Yeah, I mean,
99% of your money on full tilt. You're not a happy customer now.
Sure, I think the easiest way for quietly they could have done this is they easily could have just got a suite at the Rio, bring in a Brinks truck, park it in the bathroom, and start paying people out in real person, out of pocket.
Yeah, probably another way, but it could have been done quietly and nicely, and didn't have to make a big scene out of it. If it was happening, and it would have been fine, but obviously no one wanted to do that. So buying them at 95 cents on the dollar, I don't know about that.
Yeah, like what would you sell right now for?
I'm not really going to comment. I think I was quoting it at 65%. If you have U.S. funds, I would probably, if I had 10 million, I would definitely take 65 cents in the dollar today, definitely. And I would definitely take much less than that to terminate my relationship with Full Tilt.
Right, and I mean, like you were saying, you have a lot on stake right now for you and your company to be doing what you're doing. So it's obviously you feel strongly about this. Again, Marco, I can't thank Mr. Tony G enough for coming on the show and speaking out and being a part of this.
Sure.
All right, boys, I'm going to go.
Tony, I actually have just one more question for you, if I may. On the 13th of May, a couple of days ago, you tweeted this: "Big update from me in regards to Full Tilt Poker and Cashouts. Today is the best day since Black Friday. In terms of confidence, I feel all will be good."
There was some positive news from Ireland and some positive news from two of the Team Full Tilts. They assured me that everything is good, and that the news coming out will be very good. And as people I respect, and I felt that was truth. And when I saw the update, I couldn't even say anything for 24 hours. When I saw the news from FTP Doug, I mean, I'm just lost for words. Honestly, I'm just lost for words. If they're trying to update people on points and that, I don't think anyone's interested in points. I think that they're happy to cop that loss, but they just want to get paid.
Yeah. I mean, that's just it. I mean, this is just absolutely crazy, Tony. My mind is still spinning that this is going on. I read when you put that tweet out there, and like I said, it's like, you got leveled, Tony, because you trust these people. And that's what they've built their whole business on, is that trust factor. You can trust them. Look at them on TV all the time. Obviously, we have the money. We're spending millions of dollars on TV. You got leveled. I think we're going to be a lot more, apprehensive right now to kind of, think that that's the truth. So it's just actually, it's crazy. I hope that we all learn from this, Tony. I hope that we all continue to fight, and that we'll be here every day of the week, trying our best to keep this on the front lines.
All right, boys. Good luck.
Thank you so much, Tony.
Thank you, Tony.
Well, there's Mr. Tony G. Marco. Let's put the music on, and we'll be right back, everybody. Thank you.